In the 21st century, diversity is not just a buzzword. It is a movement that keeps on growing, that keeps making an impact in organizations, and that yields some serious benefits. Our next panel will delve deeper into this as they explain to us the power of diversity and collaboration. Please help me welcome to the stage Mirel Tulekima, Managing Director of MT Energy Resources, who will introduce our amazing panel of speakers.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Like just said, diversity is really one of the big subjects right now, and it's something that can actually make a difference for a company. So today we're going to have a discussion with two panelists, local entrepreneur, to talk about it, to talk about the impact of diversity in the environment and see what are the gaps and the solution that we can, look at to actually be able to have this diversity making an impact for companies and in different environments as well. So there's Marta. Marta is the founder and managing director of Inspiring Girls. She's going to be one of the panelists today. And Veronica. Veronica is the managing director of Swan Lab.
Gracias.
So I just wanted to really start by really defining diversity. And I think it's important for all of us to understand how we define diversity and how we apply it in our own environment. So, Marta, how do you define diversity and how do you actually apply it in your environment and really make an impact, if I can say?
Well, of course, I understand diversity as mixed teams, like teams with women and men and different nationalities, different ages. Of course, I think it's a very good opportunity for companies because as our previous panelists just said, there is money there. And it's already been proven by informs and reports from very well-known firms that mixed board of directors or managing committees get best results for the company. So it's just a question of money. It's a business question.
Thanks, Marta. And what about you, Veronica?
Yeah.
Any thought about it?
Sure. As for me, diversity, since we are living in a world where the only thing that we know that it will be constant in the future will be change, we need for this to face the pace and the rhythm of these changes, we need people very diverse and very complementary to get over all the challenges we have in front of our company. So diversity, as Marta was mentioning, is a question even on personalities of different people, on gender, on ages, on generations, on countries. And here we are at an event that is mainly tech event. So, all tech companies are from inception and need to be global. So from this perspective and to face the whole world, you need very diverse teams by definition to have the best solution at every single moment.
Yeah, and I think you're right because we've seen so far that things are really going quickly, and then you need to innovate really all the time. And the diversity is actually something that we need and to actually drive the business today. So how do you actually implement diversity as a CEO or a founder? How do you implement diversity in your organization?
We in our companies, the industry by itself, it's mainly a male industry. So I think that not talking about VC, but about the tech entrepreneurial companies, I think that the percentage of female founders is very low. It's around like 6% of the total, which is a huge gap. And as Anita was saying previously, there are many studies showing that when you have a female founder, the returns for investors are higher by 63%. So the chances and possibilities for a company are doubling the successes. So we need to seriously consider how to have more women in the tech space. So, and building up companies. We normally see them more often in commercial positions, marketing positions, not so much in the tech. And it's probably because only 25% of the engineers here in Spain are women, and not everyone makes their own business. So the percentage is very low. It's only 2 to 3%, like taking the risk of joining a startup. So, but I think that we must encourage women to join and to develop companies in Spain, because the results are very good, as you said.
Yeah, and why is that? Why do we have this gap? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we all start at the same level in primary school. And why are women reluctant to...
You know what? It's a
Yeah.
question of perception. It's a question, we have, I work in a foundation called Inspiring Girls. We work to aim, for the girls to aim high. We just want them to know that they can do whatever they want to do, and the limit is in themselves. It's not outside. So it takes breaking a lot of stereotypes. But in our studies, we have discovered that from the early age of 5, 6-year-old, the girls begin to think, I don't know why, nobody knows why, they begin to think that they are less smart than the boys in things like mathematics, technology, physics, things like this. And the teachers, they told us, this is not true, because the marks, the objective proofs, show that they are the same level, 50-50, but the girls, they perceive themselves like less smart. So they tend not to go to these kind of careers. This, I think, is a very important strategic loss for countries and for companies. I myself am a business lawyer. I've been working in technology all my life in software companies. And I have been in a board of directors or a managing committee with my president. And he would ask me, could we do this or this? And I would say, listen, I think it doesn't smell good. Why? I don't know. But I will tell you in a couple of days, because I knew that this was not the right thing to do. But I didn't have the empirical proofs at that moment in time. We have different abilities. We have different tools for the business world. And I was able to perceive something that was empathy, that was in the air, and tell my president, listen, just not to do this. And he was so smart to take the advice. But this is not very frequent, because if you don't have the numbers, this is not very frequent. But at the end of the day, in a couple of days, you are able to go there and say to the president, listen, you know why I told you this? Because such. So you have the arguments at the end of the day. But we work differently. Our brain works differently. So if we have both kind of, both sets of abilities, then of course results are better. I think they're better. So we have to work at schools, at school level, to break this gap, I think.
Exactly, and that's actually amazing, because I also worked in a very male-dominated environment, and you see very different behavior in front of opportunities. Women tend to want to be perfect before they actually raise their hand to go for an opportunity, where a man will say, okay, I'll do it and I'll figure out later. And that's really amazing. You see it all the time, and that's how women actually miss out some opportunities. And so it really sometimes comes from ourselves, really. at this point in time. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think that is an inner belief. I was reading those days about what were the barriers, and the main one is that women think that they are not capable enough, which is amazing because one thing we know is that we are much more capable than them, right? So it was based on our capacity. So I was wondering, and I was talking before to Marta, why at schools we are not like making this change, because at the same time, in different analyses, they say that until, I don't know, high school, normally the grades in maths and physics are even above the male peers. So it wasn't a question afterwards maybe on risk-taking, so that you need to take the risk. I mean, the business on technology is a risky business. Here in Spain, normally we will call in venture capital riesgo, which in English is risk capital. It's not venture capital. Mm-hmm. So we have this risk, and we know that there's nothing wrong on taking a risk. Maybe if you have a failure, you have a learning, and next time you will do it better. But you need to take the risk, and you don't need everything perfect. You don't need to figure out every single detail to make a step. You can just jump in and figure out what to do, and it will work. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. So only you try.
So with those gaps, I mean, you talk about education as one of the solution, but do you think about anything else that can actually help, bridge this gap and really help women to come out and go for those opportunities where you have more male, involved?
I think that we have to do both things. I mean, go to schools. I would like to encourage all technology women that are here today to be volunteers of Aspiring Girls. We only ask 1 hour per year to go to school and tell the girls, I do this, I like it, my barriers were that, and I could go ahead with them. And if I did, you can. It's as simple as that. They need role models, they need examples. But at the same time, we need to tell companies, listen, I was the other day with the CEO of a mathematical company, very sophisticated analyst firm. And she was saying, I had a chief of team, female, had a baby, and now she looks dumb. She cannot do the mathematical models anymore. And when I asked what was really happening, she had a baby that was a bad sleeper. The baby was up the whole night, and the one that took care of the baby was the mother, not the father. And I told the lady, listen, you don't have this lady that is a mother and doesn't work good anymore. Because if you had a man that doesn't sleep at all at night, he would be dumb also. I mean, you cannot work without sleeping, right? So let's go to the basics and see what's happening in reality. And this smooth rain, this permeability of women going to school and girls looking at them and saying, she's a helicopter pilot, she's a robotic engineer. That exists because they don't know that this is a reality. So we need to go there and show real women doing this. And then, little by little, I think this perception should change.
So basically what you're saying is that we need role model, but at the same time, there's also the need of support from partners, from male, especially on cause at home and the full support to have this balance.
Of course. If you have girls, if you have girls, take care with the language. Because sometimes it's something that you really are not aware of what you are telling in your house, and you have to be careful, because if we are all the time bombarded by ads, like for example the one of Carrefour Argentina last month, saying C of champion for boys and C of cook for girls. I mean, this is in the media. it wasn't a scandal. They took it away. But anyways, these kind of things happens all the time. So let's be careful.
So we have to educate our men. It's very important.
Yeah, and I also think that part of the business in venture capital, we normally are pursuing the best deals all over the place. So it's very important, the networking and being present for women in this type of events, forums, and trying to network with other people on the role model, because we need role models to follow in VC as entrepreneurs, in managerial position, CT, whatever, CTO, CCO, and we need these links because most of the deals in venture capital come from the closest network. So if you only are related to men, normally you will bring only men deals with male founders. So you need to be present where the movement is and get connections with everyone. Doesn't matter if it's male or women, but trying to be in the environment very active because it's another way.
And I actually agree because, working in the male-dominated environment, my mentor were actually men. And I didn't have any choice, but that was actually a gift for me because I could actually gain from their experience, and they were actually opening up more, understanding how we women function, and really taking it on board for any promotion or any work or teamwork that we were doing. So it's really about, and that's where the collaboration is very important between men and women. It doesn't have to be women just trying to find a solution. I think men have to be part of this solution as well, so that we can actually have a balance and something positive as well.
So, just an anecdote, but I was reading that during the 70s, the director of a music orchestra was mainly men. Only the directors were only men. And they started to promote to do blind audiences. So, only how the orchestra was playing by the noise, but not who was directing the orchestra. And this opened up an opportunity for many women. And as you know, we have very talented women as director of orchestra. So I think that to do kind of blind hiring profiles will be also something very good because, it's only on the results, on the experience, on the learnings, because we tend to have some cliches. For example, normally female founders are normally linked to either fashion or child or anything related to more the female. You don't think about women cybersecurity like a hacker, Hacker is mainly, you figure out immediately, you have an image of a male. You're not thinking about a woman. But why not? It depends on your interest. So we also need to take out these cliches that we have right now. So
I think it's a question also of changing the mindset, no? Because the perception you were talking about before, I was talking with the rector de la Universidad del País Vasco, and he told me, when we change the name of Informática to Ingeniería Informática, then the number of women decreased dramatically, just for the name. It's a question of perception. So it is necessary to also try to change the mindset in we women and raise our hands and all the things you said before. No?
Exactly. Okay. Do we have any question in the audience?
or comment.
One or two questions.
This is an easy one. No, I mean, have you? Oh, too late. She. I don't know. Did you hear the question? She asked about compatibility of family and work and how we deal with that. No, is that it in summary. And I was thinking of the book of Sheryl Sandberg of Facebook. I don't know if you've read it. She says, "Don't go before you go." I mean, last week we were in one of our events, and one of the teachers, not the girls, listen, was the teacher, asking one of the role model women, talking with the girls, saying, "Listen, with such an amazing career, how could you do that with 3 children?" And she said, "I have 3 children, but my husband has 3 children too." So, I mean, it's easy. You have to be very careful. I tell this to my girls, be very careful in choosing your boss and your husband. And then it would be, you have to be very careful how do you schedule your whole life and who is your companion. But the children are children of husband and wife.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Marta. Last word, Veronica.
No. I was about to mention one suggestion my colleague here, Juan, is always saying that if by definition the regulation here in Spain oblige men to take the maternity leave, then the division of hiring a man or a woman on the same age, on the 30s, wouldn't be a problem because, I mean, if it will be compulsory for everyone, then no matter, so.
Right. And also, may I say a last thing to this lady? If we cannot pretend to be the perfect mother, the perfect wife, and the perfect worker all the time and at the same time. So sometimes you will be in a project and you will be home at 5 in the morning because you're working, and then you have to delegate the other things and you have to not think about that. Other days you will be the perfect mother and then you don't take so much care about things you have to do tomorrow. So don't be so perfectionist.
Thank you very much, ladies, and give some applause to those 2 experts. Thank you.
Thank you to you, Mary.